Should I introduce the show or shall I wait for you to sit down to introduce yourself? Hi, my name's Liana, and this is Love Island's recap for Wednesday's night's episode.
And my name is Carlos, and I will also be joining Liana to give you guys the recap. Right, so last night's episode, I know you had a bit of a late one, didn't you? So you were
Yes.
actually watching it this morning. I was just speaking to my friends actually. I think last night's episode is probably going to be like the least viewed live episode, just because
Yeah.
obviously the football, like no one will have been watching it.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone will
Yeah,
be watching it today.
yeah. Hashtag
Recapping.
it's coming home.
It's coming
Yeah, it's
home.
coming home.
Sunday night.
But for those of you that haven't had the chance to watch last night's episode, hopefully this acts as a bit of like a recap. So you guys don't have to actually bother to watch it. We can tell you everything.
Exactly.
So basically, last night, the main proportion of it was the two new girls, Lucinda and Millie, got to choose three guys to go on dates with, each to make their starter, main, and dessert. So I thought the way we could go through it is just going through the starter, the main, dessert,
Yeah.
basically like that. Cool. So for starters, Lucinda chose Brad and Aaron chose Millie. Now, any thoughts on that?
I feel like Lucinda fancies Brad, like she finds him attractive, but Brad, I feel like he has no chat. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's been so iffy with a lot of girls in there already. I don't believe that she'll go for him.
I don't know though, like, because she is quite young, so maybe she
True.
is a bit more like not as wary of that sort of
That's
thing.
true. That's true.
I think whilst we're on that topic, can we just talk about how Brad literally is telling whatever girl he's interested in what she wants to hear? So obviously he coupled up with Faye,
Mhm.
because she was his type apparently. Turned out he didn't quite like her personality. Fair enough. So they went their separate ways. He's left single. Rachel comes in. He has 24 hours to get with her. He basically tells her everything she wants to hear, tells her, oh, yeah, he was like, acting like, oh, like that when she came through the door. Then she chooses him over Chugs. Chugs
Yeah.
goes home. Literally the day later, he doesn't really seem into her. And now Lucinda's come in and suddenly he's saying, yeah, there's just some red flags with Rachel. Like, it's just not 100% there. And it's just like, that's
I
not what you
just
were
find it
saying.
so. I honestly can't stand fake people. If you
Mm,
go in there, I understand you want to stay in there. It's a great opportunity, but don't be fake.
mm,
Like for him to convince a woman so much that he likes her, he's so into her. As soon as she picks him, it's
mm.
switched. It's switched. And now Lucinda's coming in, and apparently she's her type. They all three of them look completely
Yeah,
different, and
I
he said to all
know.
three, "You're my type."
Like literally, that's what I didn't understand. I don't understand from Rachel's perspective as well, because he was like to Rachel, "Yeah, you're my type,"
Mm.
but then Rachel sees Lucinda and is like, "Oh yeah, that's his type," and I'm just like, I don't
It might be
understand.
insecurities, like when she said
Uh,
that, I think she already had a feeling that
mm,
he was being quite distant all of a sudden. So I think she had
yeah,
this feeling when she seen the picture of the girls in the villa.
yeah. Not gonna lie, like the more when they had that brunch thing,
Mhm.
and Rachel was a bit upset because Brad said, "Oh yeah, if you want to talk to other people, go ahead." At the time, I was like, okay, maybe that's a bit of an overreaction because obviously you're gonna say that to someone,
Exactly.
but like now, I do actually feel bad for
I
Rachel,
do.
like especially if it's gonna be the boys picking a girl, like I don't know. Is yeah, Brad. I'm not a fan of Brad.
No, I'm
No,
not a fan of Brad.
no. But then Aaron and Millie, what do we think of them?
Um, I think like the date went well, but I feel like he's more leaning towards Lucinda.
Mm,
Um, I kind of yeah. We'll talk about the other day, but
yeah, yeah,
I think they got along. I think they'll be great friends, but I don't think it'll be more than that. I think
yeah,
it was quite refreshing to see him with someone else though,
yeah.
and see how he vibed with them.
Honestly, I feel like he was kind of just waiting for the first excuse to be like, "Oh wow, yeah, I don't really want to be with Sharon anymore." I
Yeah,
think he could have gone on a date with anyone, and it would have been like, "Wow, I wasn't
yeah,
expecting that."
yeah.
Like, yeah, because although like we've had like our issues with Sharon, for example, the way she handled the whole Hugo situation.
Yeah.
I do feel like Aaron isn't necessarily any better in terms of like the way that he's gone about the situation, the way that he's
Yeah.
like literally, because he was talking to the guys like and like to the like little camera thing, saying about how like after the whole confrontation thing he wasn't feeling it.
Mhm.
But then, as we'll come to later, it took him a whole day to actually pull her aside and then be like, and it was after the date, which makes it
Yeah,
look even worse. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
And I don't know, like, I like Aaron, but with the way he went about it, the things that he was saying to her, like, it was kind of like he was coming across as if he's better than her. Like,
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, or he at least he wants to be. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like people are saying, like there's nothing wrong with Sharon being career
Hmm.
driven, but the fact that he's put off by that is a bit of like what's the reason? Like you know what I
Exactly.
mean? I don't know. But moving on to the mains, so Lucinda chose Hugo and
Hmm.
Millie chose Liam. Now, one thing I just want to say is that I am really glad that both girls actually chose Hugo.
I'm
Like,
so
yeah.
happy. I love Hugo. Like, at first I was like, don't know, are you trying to be another Dr. Alex? But he's really won me over. Like, he's so sweet and bless him.
Mm,
Like, just want to
yeah,
give him a little cuddle.
I was so worried, when they gave the preview of the whole fake thing, and
Yeah,
we didn't know what it was, and I was like, "Oh, is he gonna have said something really bad, and we're not gonna like him anymore?"
yeah,
But yeah, I was so happy that actually, although obviously, like maybe he needed to be schooled a bit on why girls go for cosmetics, he didn't really do anything wrong, in my
yeah,
opinion. So I was glad that that was the situation.
yeah. I totally agree.
But yeah, how did you find him with Lucinda?
We've listened. I could tell he was a little bit nervous.
Mm,
But he's sweet. Like, bless him. He was really, really sweet, and like how he made effort with the food and stuff. And he was just what I respect about him. He was being himself.
mm,
100%, like he was saying, I am a nice guy. Everyone says I'm too nice, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it's really good to see that he's happy with that. And he's because, like, in there, I can imagine how intense and like you feel very pressured.
yeah.
So, with everyone telling him he's too nice or anything, I'm glad it's not pressured him to act a different way and he's just being
Yeah,
himself.
for sure. I think because as much as I do like Dr. Alex and especially everything that he's doing, like since leaving the
Yeah.
island, when he was in there, you could kind of tell that he was kind of feeling a bit pressured to not
Yes.
be himself. And you could see as the season went on, he started trying to act more
Yeah.
like the other guys, and it just didn't sit right because
Yeah.
ultimately that's not him. Whereas
Exactly.
Hugo is kind of sticking to his own, which is
Yeah.
like nice to
And
see.
I hope it stays that way. I
Yeah,
really do.
I hope so. Yeah, the only annoying thing was I think with both of Hugo's dates, it's like it's impossible though. It's like when we're talking about him, we're like, oh yeah, he's so sweet, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
That is the vibes that I got from both of them. They were kind of like they really like him, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the attraction sexually is
Yes.
there.
I don't know if the attraction's there, but I feel like compared to, look, if you're comparing the both dates, there was more of a click with Millie.
For
I feel like
sure.
something could happen, like there's a potential.
Mm. But yeah, going back to the mains with Liam,
Hmm.
that was interesting between them two. Them two seem to
It
have a bit of
was.
like, I think sexual chemistry, honestly.
You
Like
could
the
tell,
way
yeah.
she was like, she went over, touched his chest, and was like, oh, it's a bit of sweat. Like, I like that. I was a bit like, what? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I don't know. Like, there's definitely, you could definitely sense the sexual
Mm,
chemistry, the sexual tension there.
mm,
Um, who knows what could happen because I know he's vibing with Faye,
mm,
but he's also open, which I totally understand. Like being in there, like you've only known someone a few days,
mm,
why are you gonna fully commit to one person? That's the whole reason you're dating. You're getting to know different people.
for sure. But
So
it's also like, is he actually vibing with Faye? Because you not see like at that brunch thing when they were literally sat there and he's just like, I hate cats.
yeah,
Like,
it was quite. I feel like when you put Faye and Liam together, they're very blunt, but I
mm,
also feel like they don't take things to heart with each other. But then when they
true.
compliment each other, it's kind of awkward as well.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? Like when they were sat, I think they came back from the
Oh
girls came back from the
yeah,
brunch and she was like, "Oh, I don't know." She said something to him like, "Oh, you're sweet," but it was just so awkward, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh,
When you're that kind of like personality that you're not used to like
yeah,
dishing out the compliments, yeah. But we should probably talk about how Faye wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of how she was acting whilst they were on
acting,
the
yeah,
dates because realistically, the people that have like the most to worry about were Chloe and Sharon
yeah,
because Aaron and Hugo had 2 dates,
yeah,
which is like fair enough, and especially Chloe, seeing as it's a friendship couple
yeah."
anyway. Faye only had one. Liam only had 1 date,
Mhm.
and she spent the whole time like in the dressing room with Chloe, basically like mimicking the girls, like saying, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I don't need to like laugh. I don't need to do this. I don't need to say that." And it's just like,
very immature. How
yeah,
old is she? Do you know?
this is the thing. She's 26. Like she's one of the older ones. Like I think this, in line with the whole Hugo fake situation, kind of just shows that it kind of just highlights, I think she is very insecure.
Yeah,
And like, obviously, I'm not coming at anyone for being insecure. Like, if you're insecure, you probably have good reason to be, and you can't help that.
yeah,
But I definitely think it's reflecting in terms of it is like negative energy that she's giving
yeah.
off.
And
Like,
that's the thing. What I don't like, obviously we all have insecurities, but as girls I feel like you should stick together and lift each other up, and if you have insecurities, don't put that onto someone else and then
mm,
like try and be negative towards them. Just
sure.
try and reflect and get yourself to a happier place rather than letting all this negative energy out
Hmm.
when all those girls should be sticking together. Like
Hmm.
that shouldn't happen just because you find someone a threat.
And how is it that she's gonna be like one day say have like throwing a fit because I'm really annoyed about that fate comment. How can you say that like girls this, girls that?
Mhm.
And then the next day be like uniting against these 2 new girls who have just
Exactly.
entered the villa. Like it's part of the game. Like they don't
Exactly.
have any choice. They have to like
This
try it
is the
out. You know what I
thing.
mean?
You know what you signed up for. You know what you was going into.
Mm.
So you know these bombshells gonna come in. So I don't know where this like
Yeah, no one's saying that you have to literally be like, "Oh yeah, take my man."
yeah,
Like
yeah,
here you
yeah.
go. But at the same time, you could at least you can just be nice to them, which
Exactly.
probably comes on to the Sharon issue because Lucinda said that out of all the girls, Sharon was the only one who hadn't actually come and said hi. And then when we came onto her on the balcony, she was obviously saying, I don't care this, I don't care that." And it was just,
Yeah.
you
And
say
she
it's kind of
was
obvious that she does care. Like,
exactly like Aaron said, if someone repeats so many times, I don't care, you most likely do care. And it's okay to care. Be real, be
yeah.
transparent with yourself. But like um the fact that when she was on the balcony and she was saying, I don't see them having a long term connection. He's going to be in bed kissing me and cuddling me. Like, at the same time, you need to respect him because
Yeah.
you don't know what their connection is going to be like. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Don't judge it so quickly
Yeah.
because then it will come to bite you.
Yeah, which it did, but we'll get on to that. But yeah, it's just even if you were not going to admit that you're worried, still like, at least go and say hi to them. It is a bit
Exactly.
bad that you wouldn't go up and talk to them when they first
Exactly.
get
It
here.
is. It
Like,
is. If I'm honest, I wasn't surprised when Lucinda said that. Like, I
mm,
wasn't surprised at all. I
yeah.
could see that happening.
Oh, Sharon.
Drama.
But moving on to desserts. So we've already said Hugo and Millie. There was something there. Like
Yeah.
they were definitely, it was kind of cute, flirty type vibes. Not with Liam, it was literally like we said, like the whole like, oh, like you got
Yeah.
sweat on your chest sort of thing. But with Hugo, it was like there's still a spark. Like definitely, like you said, more than Lucinda.
Yeah.
Like definitely a chance something could happen.
Yeah. Well, what I noticed on that date is she was giving him the eyes. I noticed that
Really.
she was giving him the eyes.
Mm.
She was looking at him in a certain way, but he kept looking down. And I was like, Hugo,
Yeah,
look at her
I
in her
noticed
eyes.
that actually. Like, it's
Build
cute.
that connection. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like eye connection, like, is that the word?
Yeah.
Eye connection. Eye contact is what
Oh,
I meant.
yeah.
Eye connection. Eye contact is so important and it does build a lot. And you can sense the vibe a lot with eye contact. And she
It,
was giving them eyes, but he wasn't looking at her.
well, it is cute because it is obvious that he was a bit nervous
Yeah,
about it, but then also like if you're gonna go in for the graft, you need to like start.
you do. You do.
Yeah. But last date to talk about Lucinda and Aaron. So
Yeah.
you think he was feeling Lucinda more?
I feel like, if I'm completely honest, he out of the two, he was feeling Lucinda more, but I don't know if I 100% believe that he vibes with her or he fancies her, he likes. He probably fancies her,
Mm.
but I don't know. I don't know. I'm a bit unsure if he's completely honest about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like obviously not to put Millie down because both girls that have entered are like really pretty,
Mhm.
but the guys seem to be quite bemused by Lucinda, and I
Yeah,
think it's this whole like she's like got blonde hair, but
the
then her hair's
piercing
literally brown. Yeah,
eyes.
exactly. That's it. It's the like kind of like eyes, which
Yeah.
literally, of course, we've learned this whole season. Apparently, that's the
What's wrong with brown eyes,
thing.
guys? What's wrong with brown eyes?
Like blonde hair, blue eyes, like yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all seem to be bemused by her. I found it quite funny actually how Jake didn't get picked when literally they will have been sent in because of the whole like blonde thing that he started.
And you could tell he was quite gutted, but he needs to be honest with like
Mm.
Liberty. Like
Again, she's one of the younger ones. She's more easily led on,
she
and
is, bless her.
although I feel like when she was literally like, "Oh yeah, like I'm really this, I'm really that," like a few days in, I was like, "Okay, you need to like calm down." He is definitely leading her on.
He
Like,
is, and
yeah.
I can see that he's gonna hurt her, and she's gonna be hurt.
Mm,
And I'm not looking forward to that. I hope she realizes the red flags sooner rather than later.
yeah. You know what is pissing me off is that they're all calling, like all the boys keep on describing reasons that they don't want to be with
Yeah,
the girls as red flags. But I don't
yeah,
think they understand when you talk about red flags, it's meant to be stuff that's like toxic, like
yeah,
stuff that is like really like bad, that like manipulative, all
yeah.
this sort of thing. Not just that you don't like that they like
Like their
calling people
opinion
out.
or their
Yeah.
preference
Like that's
or
not red
what they want to
flags.
do in their life. That's not a red
Yeah.
flag. Just accept that you've got
Yeah, literally.
different goals in your lives.
Yeah, and that's literally you don't need to have the exact same like opinion
Yeah.
on everything. Like Brad especially kept on saying, "Oh, yeah, there were so many red flags with Rachel." This like what red flags? Like
Just
they didn't name
admit
anything.
this is the thing. He's not he's how can I put it? He's being very immature in that sense because he can't just admit he doesn't fancy her and he doesn't like her. So that's why
Mm,
he's trying to revert back to, oh, I see red flags. No, you don't. You just don't
no,
like her. Admit it.
you never liked her in the first place. You only
Exactly.
grafted her because you wanted to stay in,
Mhm.
which I know. I don't know. I just feel bad for Rachel because I think, although I don't think Chugs would have been as like openly despicable
Yeah.
as Brad is being, I do think the same thing would have happened. When you send someone in and you're like, oh, they have to decide like who they're going to choose between. Obviously, they're gonna
Obviously.
graft like when they
Yeah.
don't really want to graft because they want to stay in the villa. Like, I think that's a bit of a thing on the producer's fault. I mean, I know it makes good TV, but like,
Yeah.
it's not really fair on her.
Yeah. And I guess, I don't know, like, what would you do in that situation if you was one of the guys, you wanted to stay in and you had to grab the girl?
That's this is the thing. Like you would have to do
You
it.
would,
Like
yeah.
you wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling you. I'll leave
Exactly.
the villa. The other guy can stay in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not gonna
It's
do
not
that.
gonna happen. So it's a bit of a tough situation. Like,
Mm.
even though what he's done and how he's gone about it is bad, I also can sympathize with, well, what else was he gonna do?
I think it was more like the intensity of how he went about it.
Yeah,
Like Brad definitely made out that
like
he was like proper
into
wow
her,
by
yeah,
it.
like
Whereas I think honestly, I think he was going to choose I think Rachel was gonna choose Brad anyway. I think Brad was more of a type, so he could have literally played it cool Like literally
Yeah.
not showed any, like obviously like being polite and that, but not showing any kind of forward thing.
Mhm.
And then Rachel probably would have chosen him anyway.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't have, and then he would be able to say that, like, okay, well, I never said that I like, you know what I mean? Whereas he
Exactly.
has definitely led her on
He
in that
has
sense.
100%.
Like,
100%.
yeah. Mm,
Brad, fix up, man. Come on.
yeah. Have you seen so many people are like they're just not impressed by the guys this year?
Yeah, I said the same. I'm not impressed at all. I feel like there's no banter with the guys either. Like with the other seasons, there's always been banter.
Mm,
And I just don't see that in this season. And this season with the guys, all I see is them just constantly talking about the girls and like this or that, and just I don't know, not vibing with them. There's a
yeah.
few that I like, but
Just,
again,
just Hugo. That's it.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
Hugo.
just Hugo.
Like we were saying, like, can we not do this thing where like we take all of the it like gets to a point and then they say to the public, right, we're gonna take out all of the guys or all the girls, you can vote, and then we'll bring in a whole load of new
The new
ones.
ones.
So I think we just get rid of all the guys except Hugo and then
Yeah.
bring in new ones and then just go from there. Cause just I think I don't know, I think it's to do with the casting. Like they're just not well suited like to each
No,
other.
they're
Like
not. They're not. I
mm,
don't know. I feel like there is drama in this season because of the girls. There's a lot of fiery characters. But with the guys, I don't know.
mm. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see whether they change our minds.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the guys,
Mm,
what do you think of Aaron and Sharon's conversation at the end of the episode?
yeah. So this is the thing, right? Like, I wasn't a particular fan of either of them at the start, and then they kind of got this chemistry going, and I think it's very clear it's kind of like sexual chemistry, like they got with each
Yes.
other a few times, and it was like the spark was there.
Hmm.
Then when they started kind of being a couple, I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I kind of like you two together.
Yeah.
Like, you two can just go and do whatever. And then like, I think if I'm more angry at either of the two, I'm angry at Aaron. And the
Hmm.
reason why I'm angry at Aaron is because it's just so clear that he wants the molded partner to exactly what he
Yeah.
wants. He wants someone who's like ready to settle down. He's basically going to be a housewife. He apparently hairless arms, but then he also wants to go with dark features. And obviously, if you're gonna be someone who has dark
Yeah.
features, you're gonna have like more hair slash dark hair
Exactly.
anyway. So it's kind of like, what does that even mean? And I'm just a bit like, there's just so many red flags from on
Yeah.
his end, like literally, like. And then this whole situation where he wasn't a fan of how Sharon handled the Hugo situation.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Like I wasn't a fan of how she handled it anyway
Hmm.
either. But if you really like someone, surely you would have like been like, okay, like what we're saying, we think it would be better if Sharon and Faye would have pulled Hugo aside and like kind of said, right, we weren't that much of a fan of how you said this, and just so you know, cosmetic surgery, blah blah blah. Hugo would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah 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 blah. Problem solved. If Aaron had said that to Sharon, and then she had reacted badly to that, then that's on Sharon.
Hmm.
But it's a high chance that she would have been like, you know what, I hear you, I'm going to work on that. And that
Yeah.
would have been, they could move forward. Whereas Aaron is just seen something. And I think it's the first thing that he's like, it's the final straw in the camel's back, actually, that he just doesn't want a woman that actually speaks her mind and is
Yeah.
actually going to be like that. And it's just sad.
I'm happy
Like,
you said that because I completely
mm,
agree. What I also have to mention, him mentioning like the whole kid situation is a deal breaker. I get it because he wants kids and a future partner and whatever, but the way he said it kind of didn't sit right with me because it kind of came across that he was trying to say that was wrong of her to even say or even think or even want. And she didn't even get a chance to really talk as much either.
yeah, exactly. I don't think she even said like outright, I don't want kids. She basically just implied that she doesn't really.
Right now, which is
Yeah,
fine.
like people change as well. Like Who's this? I don't know. I suppose if you're looking for a long-term partner, fair enough. But like
Yeah.
the thing is, like this is the whole thing. You don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah.
I know like having kids is like a massive thing to a lot of people, but she just wasn't outright like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He could very easily, not that he should persuade her to have kids, but he could definitely bring it up again and be
Yeah,
like, oh,
totally.
like, I feel this way. Are you totally sure? Then if she says, I never want to have kids, I'm never
Yeah.
going to change my mind,
Yeah.
then fair enough. This is the thing. Like, he's literally he's like heard stuff he doesn't like,
Yeah.
hasn't raised it with her
Yeah.
until the very end. And this is one thing, like when they were having that conversation at the fire pit where he was basically breaking up with her, she was like, oh, I like just would have appreciated having a conversation. And I get that they were having a conversation in that moment, but I get what she means.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
if they had like it shouldn't be oh, I've seen all these things I don't like, therefore we're over.
Ended,
Yeah,
yeah.
you should actually talk about it. If she's like, well, that's just the way I am, I'm not going to change, fair enough.
Yeah.
But she didn't even
Because
get a
she was,
chance.
yeah, she didn't get a chance. If, because I remember him saying, I can't remember in what episode. Yeah, I think it was last night actually. He said, when he likes someone, he goes all in. Well, if that's the case,
Mm,
and if you're implying that you really liked Sharon and you liked where things were going, you was really into her, you was 100% into her, then you would have had a conversation, you and raised these issues with her, had a chat, see where her head's at, and then
mm.
go from there. But you've just like decided that's it, I'm ending it because of all these things. Then did you really like her that much that you're not even trying to work through anything?
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I think they just had a, honestly, I think they just had a spark. He jumped
Hmm.
on that. And the moment that he saw anything that he didn't like, he's jumped ship. And I just,
Yeah.
not a fan of that.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I think that kind of rounds off things for
Does.
today. In terms of the preview for tonight, I mean, we know Sharon's upset as we would expect
Yeah.
her to be. I can't
Did you
remember who's.
see Chloe and Toby talking
Oh
in the preview? She said
yes, she said
something,
she fancied him or
yeah, or
something.
something like, "Oh, I'm happy that you meant said me," or something in that
Mm,
challenge.
yeah, because they all fancy Chloe, didn't they? Like they all said
Very
they'd
interesting.
partner up
Yeah.
with her, and also I think Jake is moving towards Millie.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm,
We'll see. I think tonight's going to be a good
mm,
episode and see what the dynamics are, with Kaz, Toby, Chloe, and the whole Jake
yeah.
situation.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, obviously, we're not a fan of the ways that the guys are acting,
Yeah.
but at least we're getting a bit of like drama. At least it's not boring.
Yeah,
Like, you know
like
what I
for the
mean?
first few episodes, it's only just started. A lot has already gone on, which I am happy about because in the other seasons, they're also quite friendly and whatever. Whereas in this season, they're very,
Yeah, I mean, they're all. This is the thing. There's too many like friendships in there, but then
yeah,
also like everyone's kind of just no one's settling down. Everyone's just kind of like just
floating. I feel like
yeah.
this season's quite dramatic too.
Which obviously is good
Good
TV. As long as
TV.
people don't get hurt, that's the main.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. Like I think with Love Island, people are always going to get hurt. They just
yeah,
need to make sure they have the adequate support, like afterwards, in order. And I think
100%.
you do kind of know, or you should be told before you go in what to actually expect.
Expect
Like,
100%.
yeah. But yeah, that has been today's Love Island recap. Make sure to tune in to ITV2 tonight, 9 p.m. because the football's not on tonight. To watch another episode, and we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. for another recap, and also on Sunday to give you the full week shebang. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in. Oh,
Oh,
perfect
perfect
timing.
timing.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.